A very warm welcome to the second recitation of CS 170. So today's recitation will actually be about HTML, but before we start, I'll just like brush through the number conversions and we'll just look into a few examples for decimal and binary, just to like refresh the concepts. Before I start, I just want to make sure that everyone was able to get all the files that were related to the recitation. Just again, if anyone still hasn't figured it out, you go to Canvas, like go to the course, which is Compact Business, and there you can go to Files, and under Files, you can see Recitation Information. You just click on it, and if you go down, you can see my name, Jayashri, and here all the files for the recitation will be there. So like for recitation one, I have put in the slides. And if you go on the slides, you'll be able to see it. And the attendance links will be on the slides itself. So you can just click on the link and go and fill out the attendance. So that's how you can get a hold of all these files which are there, and all the information that I put, all the slides that I used while giving the class will be put here in their respective recitation folders. So let's start with the conversions, and let's see. So the binary conversion that we saw last time, just to like make it a bit more fun, I have a game here. So let's just play this game called binary conversion, so we can understand how to do the conversions better. All you have to do is you just have to click on the link which is there down below, and you go to, I'm just going to click on the link and it will take you to this page here, and then you just have to click on classic mode and it will explain like how the game has to be played. So let's just do classic mode, and here it says that you have to, okay, yeah, muted, yeah, sorry. So you'll be able to hear me properly. So you can see that what you have to do is basically you have to find the numbers that are there on the right hand side. So it says 5, 3, 4, 6, 1. So basically you have to first find the number 5, and you have to find the numbers by uh, the clicking on the bits that are there on the left hand side. What you have to do is, let's say I'm trying to find the number 1. So all I have to do is I have to drag the numbers and try to create the number. So you can see I dragged 001 and I found the number 1. So it's been flashed. So the rules of this game are like there are 3 empty squares on the lower right corner, and 3 bits need to be selected from the left side by clicking on any of them and dragging the mouse to select the next 2 bits beside it. And if the selection is successful, then one of the numbers on the right will be crossed out. And you have to like keep continuing to do this until like you get the right match. And once you get all the numbers like crossed out on the right hand side, you can go on to the next level. So this is a very fun way to, try to get your numbers. So like I selected 001, like 001, and that was 3, so it got crossed out. And in the same way, you can select all these numbers and try to find, like try to move on to the next level. So yeah, that was about the game. So like feel free to like play around with it, and you might have actually fun trying to learn binary conversions this way. So what we do is just brush up on the binary to decimal conversion. And here I have a new example. So let's just look into it. So you can see that the number, like the binary number here is 11000011, and we want to change it to decimal. So I'm just going to put out all the numbers, and I'm going to make sure that I multiply each component of the binary number by its base raised to the corresponding power. So we start from the rightmost and we say it's going to be 2 raised to 0, then 2 raised to 1, and so on and so forth, go to 2 raised to 7. And when I have to find the final results, I will multiply the component with the base raised to the power. So it becomes 1 into 2 raised to 7, then 1 into 2 raised to 6, then 0 into 2 raised to 5, so on and so forth. And that gives us the decimal number, which is 195. So yes, that was one of the examples to do binary to decimal. Let's just take a look at the decimal to binary conversion. So the steps are what we did in the last recitation. We have the number 97, and you have to keep dividing this number by 2 until we reach a result which cannot be further divided by 2. So let's see, you divide 97 by 2, you get 48, and the remainder is 1. And you have to make sure that you like write the remainders, because eventually the remainders that are there is the answer. So then you have 48 divided by 2, which is 24, and the remainder is 0. Then 24 divided by 2, 12, so on and so forth. We come to 1 divided by 2, which is 0. And then 0 cannot be further divided by 2. So this is where we stop. And the last thing we have to do is we have to write the numbers from the bottom to the top. So you say 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. And that is going to be the binary form of this decimal number. And so that was the binary to decimal conversions and decimal to binary. And so these are just a few binary numbers I have right here on the screen. And what I would like everyone to do is just pause the video right here and try to find the corresponding decimal numbers for all these binary numbers. Take like 5 to 10 minutes to try and do this. And in the next slide, I have the solutions for it as well. So you can check your answers and see if you got it right or not. And if you probably got it wrong, try to solve it again. And if you cannot, like, you can mail me and I could help you out with the conversion. So yeah, that was just like a brief on the binary conversions. And now we'll move on to the next part of the recitation, which is Introduction to HTML. And so let's see, with the basics. So what does HTML stand for? HTML is Hypertext Markup Language, and it is like a standard markup language for creating web pages, and it also helps to describe the structure of a web page. So we are going to look into like the basic topics of HTML, and we'll have a bit of coding in this recitation as well. But don't have to worry, I will take you guys through like each step, like right from the basic, and then we'll like build up on it. So just an overview of what we're going to do today. We'll start by, trying to know how to like use the editors, then what is the basic structure of a web document, the general tags that are used to structure like the web document, then how we can get help from W3 Schools, which is like an online platform, and how you can open the web console on Chrome to try to fix the bugs that are there while you write the code. And finally, we ended with how to use the W3C's validator app. So coming to the first part, which is the editor. So a text editor is a computer program that helps to edit plain text. And it is important to use a text editor that has color coding for HTML, because this just makes the programmers, like our job, like we try to program the code, right? So it makes it easier for us to like try to detect any mistakes that are there. So that's why editors are used. There are a lot of editors that are available, and some of them are mentioned here. So like Windows users can use Notepad++, which is the most used one. But for the Mac, Notepad++ is not available. So, everyone, like just not Mac users, but Windows users as well can use Visual Studio Code, Brackets, Atoms. In case you want to use these other editors like Visual Studio Code, Brackets, or Atoms, you can just go on the internet and just say Visual Studio Code download for Mac or Visual Studio Code download for Windows, and you'll get a link from which you can download it. So for all the recitations that I'm going to take, I will be using Visual Studio Code because I'm personally very comfortable with that. You guys can feel free to use any editor that you like. And it really doesn't make a difference what editor you use. It's more about like what you're comfortable with. So go ahead and download the editors that you want. If you like using Notepad++, you can stick to that as well. So let's see how you can like start using the editors that are there. And one reason, like something that I like to mention, is that there's a reason that we try to use professional editors, because it helps to facilitate the development of the source code. And these editors work on multiple problems at programs at once. So, like, say I don't have to like work on a single file; I can open multiple files in a folder, and tabs are created. So it's pretty easy to work on professional editors. So I'm just going to go ahead, and this is like the Visual Studio Code. This is how it looks. And anyone who opens any editor, the UI would be something like this. You'll have a file edit, you'll have like a toolbar with all these things. So the first thing is you have to create a file. So I go to new a file, and then I say new file. And here I can type the kind of file I want. So let's just do new text file. Okay. And here I say select a language, and you can see a ton of different languages that are there that you can select to like write the code. So we are going to do HTML. So I'm just going to type HTML, and I selected HTML. So now the program knows that, okay, we're trying to do HTML. So it will do the color coding according to it. So we just created the file. We got to save the file. So again, I go to file, I say save as, and here I'm just going to save it, and I will name it Recitation 2. If you can see, the save as type is .html. So this is very important. The .html extension is like, it denotes that, okay, this particular file is an HTML document. So always make sure that the .html extension is there. So here I've made sure that it is saving like an HTML file, and I just say save. So I'm just going to go to my desktop, and uh, can so so I'm going to go to my desktop, and this is the file. And if I want to see how the file looks, I say open with, and you can open it with any browser that you like. So I use the Brave browser, so I'm just going to open it with that. So currently, this is how my HTML file looks. It is empty because we haven't actually written any code in it. So as and when we write the elements inside of it, it will start to look like the content is going to be seen here. And you can feel free to use any of the browsers that you want. And okay, so this is how you can create a file in HTML. You can also, like, you can create multiple files. So I can again go say new text file, again select the language. So you can see that I just created this file recitation2.html, and once I created another file, it is right next to it. So basically there are tabs, and multiple files can be like, browsed through at the same time. So this is why like professional editors are just like make our work easier. So let's see. So before we let's start into the coding, I want to introduce you guys to something called as W3 Schools. And it is like a premium, educational website for learning coding online. And it's basically like a school for web developers, and it covers all the aspects of it. So like you can just click on the link here, and it will take you to the website. This is how it will look. You can go to tutorials, and you can just say learn HTML. And on the left hand side, you can see there are all the topics that you need to know about to become an expert at HTML. And it has all it will have like all the theory that is related to it, along with examples where you can try to code it by yourself. You can make changes to the existing code. And so this will be very helpful when you're trying to do your assignments and you're probably stuck somewhere and you want to seek help from the internet. You can just go to W3 Schools and search for the particular search for the particular topic of HTML, and it will give you all the information that is related to it. So probably bookmark this and keep it because it'll be really handy. So now Let's come to the basic structure of a HTML document, and it has four elements, like you can see on the screen. Out of these elements, like you have the doc tab HTML, which is the first element, then HTML, the head, and the body. So these are the four elements that you definitely need in an HTML document to make it complete. And out of these four elements, the second, third, and the fourth elements are called as tags. So, what are these tags? Now, HTML tags are like keywords which define how the web browser will format and display the content. And with the help of these tags, a web browser can distinguish between like an HTML content and a simple content. So the HTML tags actually have like three main parts. One is the opening tag, which is the arrow that you can see. And then you have the content, which is basically, where it says HTML, that's the content. And then it has a closing tag. So the closing tag is like that. Basically the angular brackets. So these tags, like the opening, closing, this is very important. But note that not all HTML tags are like unclosed tags. And while we go through like all the recitations, you'll understand which tags are written in what way. So let's go at the first one, which is the doc type HTML. And all HTML documents must start with a doc type declaration, no matter what. And the declaration is not an HTML tag. It is like an information to the browser that, what document type it is supposed to expect. So it actually represents the document type and helps the browser to display the web pages correctly. And it must only appear once at the top of the page before any HTML tag. So like that is the first thing you write when you start an HTML file. And it is not case sensitive. So that is something to note. Then we have the next tag, which is the HTML tag. And the HTML tag represents the root of an HTML document. That is, it is like a container for all the things that are there on the website. So that is another important tag that needs to be there in the document. Then we have the head tag. The head element is a container for metadata. Metadata is like data about the data. Okay. And it is always placed between the HTML tag and the body tag. So metadata is the data about the HTML document and it is never displayed. So it could be like the document title, the character set, the styles, the scripts that we are using and other information. And, as in when we go through all the coding, you will realize like what is the importance of the head tag. One of the examples that I can give of a metadata is a title. So like title defines like the title of the document. So for example, if you can see the tab here, it says recitation2.html. So currently the title is recitation2.html. But if I do a few changes in the code, I can change this title to maybe say like my web page or whatever I wanted to. So that is what a title is. And the title must only be text and it is always shown in the browser's title bar or in the pages tab. Now, the last thing that we have is the body tag. And the body tag is where the entire document's body is like present. Like it has all the contents of the HTML document, like if there are any headings, there are any paragraphs, images, hyperlinks, tables, list, anything that you see on the website that you can see like the main body of it, it is inside of this tag. So these four elements are super important and need to be there in a web page. So let's try to do this now. Let's try to create a basic HTML document structure and and then later we will build up on the same code and try to, create, add more elements to it. So I want everyone, like it'd be great if you can code along with me. Like you can, open up your editor, create an HTML file. And, as in when I write a piece of code, you can like pause the video and you can do it on your system as well. So this way you'll understand like if you are getting anything wrong or right. So I'm just going to go to my editor here. So this is my editor, and we are going to start writing the basic structure. So anytime you have to create an HTML file, these are the first steps that you have to do. So we start off by writing doc type HTML. Okay. Then the next is we write the HTML tag. And see, over here, if you can see, I've written the HTML tag and it automatically creates another tag for me, which has a closing. So except for this doc type, all the other tags need to be closed. So what does it mean like to close a tag? So this is a tag and I have opened the HTML tag here. And when I have to close the same HTML tag, I have to use this slash. So this slash indicates that the tag has been closed. So now we write the doc type HTML, then we write the HTML tag. After that, we will write the head tag. So I just say head, and if because we open the head tag, it is important that we close it as well. So we have closed the head tag. So now you have the HTML tag. Inside of it, we have the head tag. And then inside of it, we'll have the body tag. So I will just write body, and it will create another closing tag for the body. It is not necessary, like you might be using some other editors, like if you're using Notepad++, it is not going to automatically create the closing tag. You will have to type it by yourself. In Visual Studio Codes, it does it automatically, and that's why it's like pretty, like that's why I like it so much, because I can never go wrong, or I don't have to worry about, oh, if I closed a tag or did not close the tag at all. So that's the basic structure of an HTML document. So anytime you have to like create an HTML file, you have to submit an assignment, anything, you always start off with this and make sure that these elements are in place, and and then later you can start adding things to it. So this is the first and the most important thing. Now if I'm gonna save the files. I just did Control S. You can also go to File and say Save. And I will go and check how the website looks. And I'm just gonna refresh it here. And you can see that still nothing is visible. The reason is that we haven't still, written like the code for the content that has to be displayed. Now, as and when we try to do that, you can start see the changes now. So let's start off with like writing the code for our head tag. And in the head tag, what we will do is we will mention the meta character set, which is basically the character set attribute, which specifies like the character encoding for the HTML document. And it is encouraged like it is encouraged to web developers to use the UTF-8 character set, because that character set covers almost all of the characters and symbols in the word. So that is something that's why we use the UTF-8. So we are going to go and do that. So we just go to the head tag, and inside of the head tag, I will write a tag called meta char set equal to, and then I say UTF-8, and then I close the tag. Okay. And this, again, I'm going to save the file. If I go and check it, it will not show any changes, because it really doesn't change anything on the website. Like visually, we are just trying to mention the character set that has to be used. So it is going to stay the same. After we do this, there's something like I want to introduce, which is called as comments. And we can add as many comments as we want in the HTML document, and it will not be shown anywhere. So why are these comments used now? Comments are great to like place any notifications or reminders in your HTML code. It helps you like debugging, and you can even comment out lines of codes in order to search for errors. So usually like it makes it easier for the programmer. Like if I'm sitting and coding an HTML document, I can put comments at places where I think like, oh, I might have to come back to this code or something like that. So what is the syntax to write a comment? You use a open angular bracket, and like then it is followed by an exclamation and then two hyphens. Then you write whatever comment you want to write, and then you end it with two hyphens and close the angular bracket. So let's just write a comment like below this. I'll just say, so you open the angular bracket, give an exclamation mark, then two hyphens, okay, and then it automatically fills in the ending of it as well. And then you say this is a comment. So you can see the different color coding that is there. Like for comments, it has like gray. For all the tags, it's in blue. And if you have any attributes, it's in yellow, and the values are in green. So this color coding is really important. Anyway, if you see a red, that means that you've made a mistake. Like just say, I removed the closing tag of this body, and you can see that it has highlighted this part as red, which means that there is an error. So I'm going to go back and put the angular bracket, and now the red highlight is on. So color coding is really helpful in this. Like if you have a really big code, it helps you like find out what the mistakes are. So yeah, so we looked into the meta character set, and we also looked into how to write a comment. So feel free to use comments throughout your code to like as a placeholder, or for you to remind things in your HTML file. Next is there's another tag that we can add, which I've mentioned before, and it is the title tag. And it defines the title of the document. Like I said, it should only be a text. Uh, and in like a bigger picture, how is the title tag important? So like the contents of a page title is very important when it comes to like the search engine optimization, because the page title is used by these search engine algorithms to decide the order when listing the pages in the search results. So this is where like title is like really useful. So now if you can see, the title is recitation2.html over here, and now we will change it. So if I have to write a title tag, I say I open the angular bracket, I say title, close the angular bracket, and you can see it has already created a closing tag for it. And then I can write the title as my first web page and hit save. So now if I go and see my website and try to refresh it, you can see that now the title over here has changed to my first web page. So this is where the title tag is really important, and you can change it to like display or whatever you want. So that was about the head. And now let's go to the body, which is where all the code, we write all the code which is supposed to like display the content on the website. So the most basic tag that we have in body is the p tag, which defines a paragraph. And here a text can be written, which will be displayed on the website. So one thing to note is that after each P element, the browser automatically adds a single line break before and after. So let's just go to the code. I'll go to body, and I will write a P tag. So it's easy. You just have to open angular bracket, say P, close the angular bracket, and it automatically creates a closing P tag as well. And here I can write hello world. I'm just writing something just for just to like see if it's displayed or not. I go to my web page and refresh it, and you can see now it says hello world. So now you can start seeing things on the web page because we are writing it under the body tag. So this is just one part of like the tags that we can write. Um, there are many more things that you can do inside of the body tag. So let's start by adding a few elements like the headings and images and all of that. So like you can see here, you can see on the right hand side, we have the heading tags and we have the images and the lists are also made. So let's just see how we can do that. So I just go back to my code here. And so headings in HTML, they range from H1 to H6. So H1 being the largest font and H6 being the smallest font. Okay. So headings are like, titles or subtitles that you want to display on the web page. And like I said, H6 defines the least important heading, and where are the important search engines use these headings to index the structure and the content of your pages. So like users often like skim a page by his headings, and that's why it is important that you use headings in your document structure. So let's say you start with H1, which has like the most biggest font, so it should be used for main headings, so on and so forth. You go to H2, H3, and H6. So what we'll do is, let's just like try to write all the headings from H1 to H6 and see how different they are from each other. So again, when you have to write a heading, you just put the angular brackets, say H1, and it will automatically close it. So I'm just gonna write heading 1, then let's get H2 and say heading 2, then you say H3, and then I say heading 3, then H4, and heading 4. So on, I'll just write for 5 and 6 as well. So this is heading 5, and this is heading 6. And I will hit save, and let's see how it changes our website. So I refresh it, and now you can see heading 1 has the largest font, and as you gradually go down to like 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, it reduces. So you can accordingly like play with these headings and see which ones you want to use while you create your website. So that was about the headings. The next thing that we can look into is images. So mostly like when you go on websites, you see like a lot of images are there, and it'll be a really cool thing to know how you can put images in your website as well. So it's easy. It's very easy. Like for heading, you have the H tag. For paragraph, you have the P tag. For image, you have the IMG tag, and it helps you like embed any image that is there. So you have to take into consideration that the image tag takes like two attributes. One is called the source and one is called the alternative. So when we are trying to put an image on the website, I have to tell the code like from where do I get the image. So I need to put a link for the image, right? So basically I need to mention the source of it. So if I have to mention the source, that's where you write it in the source attribute. And then you have the alternative, which is like, what if the image does not like display for some reason? So what could be the alternative to it? So instead of the image displaying, you can probably write a text saying, oh, this was an image of a dog. So that's something that that's why the alternate is used. It is not necessary that you always have images taken like online from the link. You can have images that are there on your system and you can write the part to it as well. And over the recitations we'll look into how to do that. They will just see how I want to I take a random image on Google. So I'll just say dog pictures, and I go to images. I'm just going to select the cutest picture that I like. Okay, I love this one. So I am going to select this picture and I want the link for it. So I will say copy image address, and I will copy it and I will just keep it the way it is. Now, we go and start writing our image tag. So I put the angular bracket, I say image, then I say src, which is the source. Like I have to tell it from where do you get this image from. And I just copied the link from Google, which I'm going to paste here. So I have the source written. Then you have the alternate text. Alternate text is just in case if this image is not displayed, then what text should what should be seen. So I will say this is supposed to be a dog picture. Okay, I say that, and then we can end the image tag. So now, one thing to note is that the image tag is one of the tags which does not have a closing. Like you don't have to write the angular bracket slash img. Like you don't do that for image. We don't do this for the image tag at all. So for the image tag, you just say you write you write image and then you say src for source to tell it from where to get the image from, and then the alternate text. And I will save it and let's see if the changes are made on the website. So now you can see that we have the dog picture on our web page as well. Okay. Just in case I make a mistake in the link, and I'm just going to remove a few characters. So now, a link like this does not exist. Okay, so no picture should be seen right now. So I'm just going to refresh, and you can see that because the link was broken, the image was not able to display. And instead of the image, an alternate text is displayed which says this is supposed to be a dog picture. So this is where alternate text is really handy. Suppose the image is not displaying, you can the alternate text tries to cover up for it and say, okay, this picture was supposed to be of this person or of this thing. So that's where the utility for the alternate text comes from. And again, remember that the image tag does not have a closing. So that was about the image tag. Now there are there's another really useful like tag which is called as the a tag or the anchor tag, and it is useful in putting links in your web page. So at times you see like websites, they have links and you click on it and redirects you to a different page, right? So let's try to add a link like that. So when you have to add a link, you have to write the a tag, and then you have to the a tag has an attribute called h reference, which is basically like for the image we had to put in a link so that it knows that okay, this is the image that you have to display. Similarly, for an a tag, I have to mention what the link. So like when anyone clicks on it, it should redirect me somewhere else. So let's just write that. So I say A and then say href. Okay, this is where I write in my link that I want, and then I close it, and then it automatically creates a closing tag as well for A. And between these A tags, I can write visit, like I can write click here to visit page. Okay, so this is so when I let's just try to refresh it, and now you can see that the content is here. Click here to visit page, and when I click on it, it should actually take me to the website that I have referred. But currently I haven't written any links here. So let's just try to add a link. I'm going to add a link for W3 schools, and now let's go and check again if it redirects us. So I've refreshed the page, I click on this link, and you can see it takes me to W3 schools. So this is where like the A tags can be really useful. But now if you see this web page, both the things are on the same side. Okay, let me just fix the image ones. I'll just fix the image. Let's see if it's working now. Yes, so now we have the image, and then next to the image is our link, right? And I don't want the link to be next to the image. I want it to be on the next line. So what I can do is between, okay, my God. Yeah. So what I can do is, if I want like a line break between elements, all I have to use is this tag called BR. That's it. BR stands for break, you can say, and whenever I do this, it will do a line break. So now I'm just gonna refresh, and now you can see that the link has gone down. So that's how you can use BR to do line break. Now another like really useful thing in HTML is the non-breaking space, and it is denoted with like the ampersand sign followed by NBSP. That's what is written. So let's go to W3 schools, and let's say I want to know about I want to know about the non-breaking space. So let's just say W3 schools non-breaking space. So I'll go to the first link, and here, see, you can see non-breaking space. So W3 schools has everything already on it. All you have to do is like go on it and search. And this is what a non-breaking space is denoted with. It's an ampersand NBSP, and basically it is a space that will not break into a new line. Like examples could be, using, like it is handy when breaking the words might be disruptive. Like when after at 10 p.m. you can use this non-breaking space to mention. So that was about the non-breaking space. Now, so like we did the right hand side of it, we did the headings and the images. Let's try to create lists now. Lists are like the ones that you see, like you have main heading and you have some items under it. So let's create lists now. So now list can be of two types. One is ordered list and unordered list. Ordered list is where you have numberings 1, 2, 3, 4, or like A, B, C, D, where there is an order. And an unordered list is where you just have bullet points. So let's look into both the kind of lists now. First, let's go into the unordered list. So unordered list is given by the tag UL. Okay, because as the name suggests, like UL means U is for unordered, L is for list. You have UL. So when you write the UL tag, it tells the browser like, okay, this is an unordered list now. Now inside of the list, we need to put the list items. So the list items are denoted by LI. So I say LI, and automatically the closing tag is done. So let's just say I say coffee. Okay, that's my first list item. I can add more list items. So I'll say tea. Okay, and let's add milk as well. So now if I go and check my website, you can see we have an unordered list because it has bullet points here, and you have the list items, coffee, tea, and milk. So that's how you can create an unordered list. And let's see what an ordered list is. So ordered list, you use the tag OL because O is for ordered and L is for list. So OL is for ordered list. And inside of the ordered list, let's have the list items. So we say LI, and I say, let's say the type of tea. So I say black tea, and then I say green tea. Okay. So let's go back to our website. I'm going to refresh it. So now you can see that the ordered list has an ordering. It says 1, 2, black tea and green tea. So that's how you can create ordered lists and unordered lists. But there is another type of list that you can create, which is called as the nested list. So what is a nested list? It's basically like you have a list and inside of that you have another list. So let's just look at the unordered list that we created. So you have coffee, tea, and milk. And now inside of this tea, you can have two types of tea, right? The green tea and the black tea that we have written here. So what I'll do is I'll just copy this piece of code, okay? The ordered list code. And I want this to be displayed inside of the tea. So what I will do is I'll just hit enter before the tag for tea closes. And I'm going to paste this. Now, when I go and look at my website, you can see that I have the unordered list here, but inside of this T element, we have an ordered list. So this whole thing is an example of a nested list where there is a list inside of the list. And you can have an ordered list inside of an ordered list, unordered list inside of an unordered list. You can have any permutation combination. So that is how we can create lists. Another thing that I want to mention is that you can change the way the text looks inside of the paragraph tags, the H1 tags. Let's say I want to make this bold. So all I have to do is write B. The B tag will make it bold. So I say hi. So now this is going to be bold. Let's say I want to show something in italics. So I just say I, and then I can write something, some content inside of those I tags. So, italics, you use the I tag. For bold, you use the B tag. Let's just go and see the changes. So you can see here, the high is bold and the by here is italics. So that is also something that you can do. So we looked into lists as well. We looked into nested lists also. Now, coming to tables, HTML tables, they allow the web developers to arrange data into like rows and columns. And each table cell is defined by a TD tag, where TD stands for table data. And then everything between the TD tag is basically the content of the table cell. Then you have like you have the TR tag as well, and each table row starts with a TR and ends with a TR tag. TR, it stands for table row. Then you have a TH tag as well, which is table heading. So, you can, when you have tables, you usually have like the first row is always the headings, and then, you have the content for it. So, you can see here we have like a table, like an example of how a table looks. And you know, the elements that are used to define the table are also given here. What we'll do is we'll try to create a table now. So first thing to do when you have to create a table is you have to write the table tag. Okay. This will tell the browser, okay, we're trying to create a table. Now, inside of the table, the first thing we do is write a caption because every table needs a caption. So I say caption, and it automatically has a closing tag, and I say major cities in US and population. So this is the caption for the table that we are going to create. Now, always remember that we fill the table content row-wise. So we start off with the first row, then we go to the second row, third row, so on and so forth. So we will start off with our first row. And to denote that we are starting with our first row, we say TR, which means table row. Okay, so now we have the TR tag. And inside of it, always remember that the first row of all the tables is the heading. Like you always need to have a heading to know, which column is for what. So we have the TR tag. Inside of it, we will have our headings. So for headings, I say TH because it means table heading, and it automatically has a closing tag as well. And then I say city, that will be my first heading. And then we have TH tag again, and this will say population. Okay, I'm just going to save this so we can see what changes it makes to the website. Remember, we just have one row right now and we have a caption, and the row has two headings, city and population. So we go to the website and we refresh it, and now you can see the caption is given major cities in US and population, which the first row, and in the first row we have the city and we have the population. But the thing is that you cannot actually make out, like, the table borders are not there, so you cannot actually make out the separation. So let's do one thing. Let's just get a table border. So if you want a border, it's very easy. All you have to write is border, and you have to give the border a size. So I'm going to give it a size of 1. So let's just go back to the web page. And now if you can see, now the table border is made where you can see the two distinct columns. One is the city and one is the population. Now this is the first row. So a first row is done, which has the table headings. Now let's make our second row. So for the second row, I said TR. Okay. And inside of this, now we have to fill in the data. So instead of using TH, here we were using TH because we wanted the heading. But now we don't want the heading, we want the data. So I will say TD, which means table data. And then I will say New York City, and I want to write the population of New York City. So let me just type some random numbers. So this is the second row of our website, of our table. So I'm going to refresh it. And now you can see you have the second row also made, which says NYC. And then the population of NYC is also mentioned here. Now, so on and so forth, I can build on, like, I can write in more data. Feel free to pause right now and maybe like add a few rows, like add 2, 3 more rows of your choice, and see like if the changes are made in the website, and like you can resume back and then continue watching the video. So I'm gonna write a few more dummy data. So I've added 2 more rows here, and let's go to the web page and we can see that the 3 rows are added here. So that's how you can create tables as well. And yes, it was like I so we looked into the elements, which is table, then TH, TR, TD, caption, and all of those. So yeah, that was about like the coding that we had to do for this recitation. And we looked into a lot of elements. So it will take like a few like days and practice like web pages to actually get a hang of all the elements that are there. And don't worry, you don't have to use all the elements at once. The assignments will mention what elements to use and where to use them, and you just have to follow it. So how to use the web console. So sometimes what happens is that there could be an error on the, like, in the code that you're writing, and you're probably not able to figure out what the error is. So what you can do is you can also try to debug by using the browser, where like the errors will be color coded with the red color, and the location will also be given. So you can use this tool to get the errors as well. If you're using Chrome, you just go to settings, go to more tools, then go to developer tools and click on console, and it will give you the errors that are there. For me, I'm using the Brave browser, but the steps are the same. You go to more tools, go to developer tools, and it will open console. And for now, like, there are no errors in my website, and that's why you cannot see any error. So that is a, and then we have the W3C validator. So the markup validation service is a validator by the World Web Consortium, and it allows the internet users to like check their HTML documents for any mistakes. And it's very easy. All you have to do is go to this tab. Okay, it will open up something like this, and you can say validate by direct input, And here you can add your code. So I will just copy the code and paste it here. And I will say check. So what it will do, it is going to validate my code and tell me if there are any errors or any warnings. If there are any warnings, you can just ignore the warnings. But if there are any errors, then you should look into the errors. So let's see. The error over here says that the border attribute used is obsolete. That's completely fine. If we use any techniques are not used anymore. So this is an error that can be omitted. Let's just say I made a mistake in some of the tags and then I say check. So you can see here it says error slash was not immediately followed by this. And it says at line 64, the error is there. So if you can see line 64, uh, this is the line 64, and I'll actually removed this angular bracket and it was telling me that here the error is. So, every time you submit your assignment, before submitting the assignment, it would be a really good practice if you could like put your code on this validator and just check for any other any errors that could be there that you must have just missed out, and then you can correct it and then you can submit your assignments. So this is pretty useful like that. So you can bookmark this and keep as well. And yeah, this is the attendance form link for this week. So please make sure that you fill it up within a week's time so that you can be marked present for the recitation, which is for week 2. And with this, we come to an end to this recitation. I hope you understood all the concepts that were taught today. And if you have any doubts, please feel free to mail me and look into the recitations file that are uploaded. You can find the attendance link there. Thank you very much and meet you in the next recitation.